Start string. Yes. Okay. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yay. I need to change color on this one too. Nope. What was the color? That one? Nope. Nope. Sure, that'll work for now, I guess. Hey, Miguel. Meal was good. Food was much needed. No sleep racing. Tristan here. Never to catch these live. Well, just kind of hanging out. This live stream was actually requested during my last live stream, but I had to eat and press reset. Preston over at Press Reset just finished up a live stream, and I didn't want to conflict with his, so I waited for his to end. But otherwise, welcome, welcome. Digital Ghost, how's it going? Matthew, welcome back. I really have nothing on the agenda. I'm just doing some projects, filament testing, and a Tico test print. I'll show you a print that it finished from the last stream. Blocks is running another test print now. Just gonna hang out with you guys and answer whatever questions you may have if I can or not. So I was gonna be working on this stuff anyways. You guys had questions, so I figured I'll hang out with you guys. Why not? That 3D print guy. Hey, guy. Morning. It's 10:48 p.m. here. Good night. Morning, Daniel. Let's see here. That's going. That's going. I was trying some polycarbonate filament. Supposedly virgin polycarbonate, but it's from China. On the Ultimaker 2 during my live stream earlier. I think I have to print a much slower, a little bit hotter, and probably one piece at a time, because I'm getting some horrible like stringing between my prints, but they're really freaking strong. This is a bracket that I was working on. This is for a printer I'm designing, and the bottom portion came out perfect, but that's where the heated bed is. So I'm wondering if I'm even going to be able to hit the temperatures that this actually wants with my Ultimaker 2. It wants up to 260 degrees Celsius. It's like 240 to 260 Celsius to print it. I can't hit 260 on my Ultimaker. It's not all metal. But I'm going to try to give it a go again, because I had printed a bunch of little pieces at once. And I think one of them had failed in the middle. And instead of canceling it, I just let it go. So I think that's part of where the defects are coming from. And I'm kind of having some bed adhesion issues, even though I'm using bed adhesive that's supposed to be for polycarbonate. So I'm going to try upping my bed temperature slightly and printing a little bit slower and do one piece at a time and see if I can't get some successful prints off of it. It'd be kind of neat to review this filament if it works out. I did buy it, but it was pretty cheap for polycarbonate. Whoa, chat blew up. So what model are you making? Afternoon. Hey, Peter. Hey, Chris. Welcome back. Are you a fan of anime? I do like anime, actually. I've been a fan of anime for 12 years or so now. I haven't really watched any recently in like the last 3 years or so. Kind of just random episodes here and there. I used to be really crazy with anime. I used to follow like 10 different series at once when I was in college. Not to mention watching series that were already complete in between those episodes while I was waiting for them. Yeah, this is a part for my Core XY that I'm designing. I had to redesign a couple of components on it. I figured, why not print it in polycarbonate? Because I have some. See how it works. Hey Cloud, welcome back. Just hanging out, for anybody who might have just joined in. Just hanging out, answering questions if you guys like, and more or less just doing some more test prints and stuff that I'd be doing even if I wasn't live right now, so just hanging out. Naruto. I have not watched Naruto since like episode 130 or 140 or something like that. I gave up watching that series. Just too many filler episodes. I was a bigger fan of Bleach, but I gave up on that around the same time. Matthew, Dustin, I just did Polymaker's PC Plus 270 hot and 105 bed in enclosure, no problems. Almost too good of adhesion to painter's tape. Well, I'm using Wolfbite Mega, I think it is, which is supposed to be for polycarbonate. They use it on their Airwolves with no problem, but I haven't tried it on my Ultimaker. My Ultimaker has an enclosure, and I was running the bed at I think 90C, so I'm gonna pump it up to just about 99. I think it's rated to 100, but I don't know if I'm gonna put it at 100. But my hot end, I think it was only running 245 or 250, so I'm gonna bump that up a little bit too. See if I don't melt my PTFE in that thing. I think I have some spare still though. And then otherwise just print a little bit slower probably. Million likes. Did you get my email? I don't know that I did. Sorry, dude. Have you tried the Pokemon New Sun and Moon? I'm gonna say no because I have no idea what you're talking about. I was never a Pokemon fan though. I can get my prints to stick without using the heated bed. Polycarbonate? No sleep racing. It's slow through the first couple seasons. Yeah, it was really slow. Best budget filament. Everybody asks me this. I'm doing a series. I haven't done an episode in quite a while, actually. I'll do another episode maybe in the first part of the year. There's a series on my channel called IBT, or I Bought This, and it was basically geared around different things that I'd buy for 3D printing. In fact, this is going to be part of that series because it was cheap for polycarbonate, and I bought it. If I get a chance to review it, that is. But I geared that around buying filaments on Amazon that were like $25 and under for a kilogram of PLA usually. And there's a couple of them on that series already. As far as budget goes, if I'm doing budget printing, I usually pick up either some Matter Hackers Thrifty Make, which is only available in like 4 colors, and it's only available in 1.75 millimeter. But it prints really well. The white is really, really opaque. It's not translucent at all. And if I'm not using that, I'll be using usually like a Hatchbox or eSun. I dabble with random brands here and there, but it's usually a hit and miss on what I actually like. So it just depends on what I'm printing and depends on what I have laying around at the time usually. I buy random filament way too much. Million likes. I have a problem with my Monoprice Select Mini or with Cura. What is the best slicer that you would recommend? Cura. Try using Craftware. You have a little more versatility with Craftware. I'm not sure what your issue is with your Select Mini. I personally use Simplify 3D for pretty much everything. It's my go-to slicer. It's worth the investment if you have multiple printers for sure. Cloud, my favorite anime is the Backyardigans? No idea what that one is. I was always a fan of like the drama and the school drama ones. And then like the action. What was that series? There was a series that like was a school teacher in like high school or something, but she was like the daughter of the mafia boss or something. The Yusuka. He was like the next heir to the Yusuka. and everybody's like making fun of her because she was teaching the crappy class of like all the delinquents, and she like didn't care because nobody scared her. And then they find out who she was and they like worship her. It's kind of funny. That was a really long series. I liked Initial D, Great Teacher Onitsuka, a couple others like that. Shaxton, stay away from Shaxton. I will personally say that's one brand for sure I am staying far away from. Shaxton's easy for me to get because Fry's is like 3 blocks away from my work. I could pretty much walk there. I drive, but I could pretty much walk there. And I've been through 4 spools of 175 PLA and 5 spools of 3 mil PLA, and every single spool started cracking in half on me within halfway through the spool. Continuously. This didn't matter if it was left out or not. Like, I seriously like ran a full-on print that would eat up almost most of the spool, and it was cracking by the time it got to that point in the spool. The white PLA in particular, in both sizes, prints really like, for me, it printed really like gummy feeling. Prints kind of felt like they were kind of rubbery-ish. It was weird. Like, it wasn't soft, but it just kind of had that rubbery like texture to it. It was just really weird. I did not like that filament. I will never buy any more Shaxton. I'll buy some random China stuff off eBay before I buy Shaxton again. Forget that stuff. Favorite is Digimon. I watched Digimon, the original one. Like when it was on TV for like the first season. I found 1 kilogram PLA for $18.95. Well, try it out. Tom and Jerry! Yes! Tom and Jerry is awesome. I have an XYZ printing mini printer. And I have heard something about resetting NFC chip inside the filament to use third-party filament. Do you know anything about this? No, sorry, I do not have an XYZ, but there's a lot of information about it online. Yeah, the lockdown filament makes me stay away from that printer completely, more or less. Holy smokes, went to see Rogue One and came back and you're still I'm not still streaming, this is a new stream. I took a break, had dinner, I watched Press Reset's live stream for over an hour, and came back to this because you guys requested it. Smart Buy PL... Smart Buy. Oh, is that the one that is like a rebrand of Foxmart or something? What city are you in? I'm not going to tell you what city I'm in. I'm in Southern California, and I'm near Disneyland. So, Disneyland is really close to me. I can hear the fireworks at night sometimes. 3D Soltech printer filament is 16.99 pounds per kilogram. I've had some Soltech. I've had mixed experience with it. I really liked their Pet G, but they stopped making it, I think. But their PLA prints fine, but I had a roll that sat for a while, and it really like deteriorated. It was weird. It just didn't print as well as it used to, and it wasn't moisture because I tried drying it out, and it just didn't print right. It was weird. It printed fine when I opened it, but when I let it sit for several months, it didn't work very well anymore. It was weird. Million likes. Is there a way that I could send you a picture of some of my prints? The mono price comes with turns out 100%, but the things I get off Thingiverse that have really thin... Could be just the models, man. Try printing a... million likes. Try printing a hashtag 3D Benchy and tweet that to me. Oh, I don't have it on here. I wonder if I could add something like that. Tweet me at the JATMN. THEJATMN. How do I add? Let's stop it. Add text. Ooh, cool. I'm gonna draw. Okay. Sure, let's make it italic. Yeah, because you could totally see that. Oh, outline. Cool. Do black with white outline. Nah, I like the other way around. Do. Sure, whatever. Then thickest. Cool. There. Why does that look weird? Anyways. Yeah, tweet me. Didn't show up on your channel. That's odd. How long have you been doing 3D printing? Just about 3 years now. Taylor, love your reviews of machines as maker, printer, designer, printer guy. Thanks. Have you used any inland filament for Micro Center? I've heard it's supplied from eSun, but it's printed differently than my eSun filaments. I have eSun filaments. I've used eSun filaments, and I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 13 spools of inland from all of its PLA, 1.75 and 3 mil size. And yeah, for me it prints different than eSun as well. And honestly, I kind of regret that bulk buy because I've not been too impressed with it. People like it. I don't know. I don't care for it. I've had mixed results with it. You had it on your last stream in the blue border. Yeah, well, my blue border, you guys are talking about this one. I can't use this. It says 3D printing tonight at the bottom. Like, see? This is not 3D printing tonight. This is just a live stream. So, well, we'll go back to this one. I'll make up something or lay this out with more details or something right here. Right here. I'll do something fancy for the general streams. I'm gonna do more and more live streams. I think people seem to really enjoy it and like getting the instant feedback to their questions. So in the future there'll be more. I have a lot of stuff to work on still. I did print the Benchy. I do have Twitter. How about Gmail? You can get my email address off of the About section of my YouTube channel. Wow, massive font. That must have been when I was messing with it. Can you recommend CAD software to create STL files? Fusion 360 people have been enjoying. Tinkercad works well for basics. I personally work in manufacturing, so I have access to SolidWorks, which is really expensive. Those would be my go-tos. Yeah, do 1 million likes. Do what Chris said. Post on the 3D Facebook, 3D printing Facebook group. And there'll be a lot of people commenting, especially if you post a Benchy. It's the easiest way to tell if there's issues, mostly. Wingdings. You guys must have been talking about the font. Yo, hold up, I'm creating a Twitter. Okay, tweet ya. On my destination, signing out. Bye. See ya, 3D print creator. I'll take the inland off your hands. Yeah, I paid for it. Come on, man. Late night comedy hour. Sure, why not? I should have changed the title of the stream, huh? How would you rate monoprice printers for people not in the trade? I rate them as potential to need tinkering. They can print great. Just be ready to work on them. 3D printing in general is a hobby. People gotta... That's something that not a lot of people are understanding the concept of is whether you buy a $200 printer like the monoprice Select Mini, or you buy a $2,500 printer like the Ultimaker 2 that I have back there. You're still going to be tinkering with them. The hobby and the industry is still too young to give you the perfect out-of-the-box experience in most cases. There's been a lot of people that have said, like, yeah, I bought my $300 printer, I took it out of the box, and I set it up, and it printed fine. Well, that's great. It doesn't happen for everybody. I'm the perfect example. My Ultimaker was $2,500. I paid for it myself. And out of the box, it did not work. I had a hell of a time with the machine. But now, over a year later, it's my go-to machine mostly. And prints great. It's just, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at the industry. Even if you spend $10,000 on some sub-enterprise level machine, you're still going to have issues with it. It's just the nature of the beast. The industry is still too young to consider anything out of the box like retail, like buying a microwave or something. The industry's just not there yet. But as for anybody trying to start out, and if they're looking at monoprice machines are generally rebranded Malians or the rebranded Wanhouse. Malian makes a decent machine, and the Wanhouse are decent, proven machines. They all have issues sometimes, but it's a hit and miss. And I've seen some prints that blow away and rival a lot of my Ultimaker 2 prints that were done on a monoprice i3, just because the person put so much effort into tuning it up and making it print so nice. So it just depends on how much time you want to put into it. And if you're trying to get into 3D printing, you want to dedicate time to it. It's something you want to learn. NLTMW, thanks for introducing me to xSplit. A quick test shows that it handles multiple webcam feeds. Yeah, I haven't done multiple cams yet, but I've done desktop capture, and now I have the chat thing going on here. I'm probably going to buy xSplit, but it's expensive. But I'm probably going to buy it, being as I keep doing all these streams, and you guys enjoy it. These, still streaming. Hope you had dinner. Good morning from Germany. Yeah, I ate. And good morning. Is there any program that can make a 2D image into a 3D object? That's a loaded question, sorry. If you're talking about like a lithopane type thing, or a cookie cutter type thing, there's a number of different ways of doing that. Unfortunately, I'm not the right person to ask for that, sorry. Try on maybe the Facebook groups or on Twitter. I've not done any of that myself. Never had a need for it. Can you recommend the Tico? I can recommend that we all watch to see what happens with the Tico. Anyone wants JATMN's inland, I'll get him to autograph it and sell it for $25 for roll plus shipping. Matthew, 2 a.m., gotta run. See ya. See ya, Matthew. What time is it in Cali? It's 2 a.m. in Florida. It's 11 p.m. here. Hey, 3D Printing Nerd. How's it going, Joel? Just hanging out. People asked for another live stream, so here I am. Simplify 3D has a built-in lithopane tool. Does it really? I didn't even know that. I'll have to check that out sometime. Simplify 3D has so much power that it's like no one really knows about it. I figure out new things with it about every other day. Okay, so who wants to see the latest print off the Tico? So first off, let's use this as a benchmark. My brother's Mario just checked. Apparently, xSplit is 55% off for lifetime print. Yeah, I'm tempted to buy it, but it's still like $200. And this channel doesn't make a lot of money. So I'm putting out of pocket for everything you see. So this is the benchmark. This is Chaos Cortex little Pokemon thingy. This was printed on Blocks, dang it, Block Zero, that Kickstarter or Indiegogo printer, I should say, that I'm checking out. Came out pretty well. So this is awesome. Now, let's see what the Tico did. Did it conquer it or did it not? Dun dun dun. Not too bad on the front side. The peaks don't come out very well, but I honestly expected that because it's still struggling with tiny features. There's a strange layer skip, sorta, right there on the front, but it doesn't really continue through the print, so it's kind of weird how it just did it right there on that one part. Now, what I don't like is this. This is, I don't know, it's weird. Whatever's on the back side of the print, or whatever side of the print is facing back, it's been doing this. My test print earlier in the end of last weekish was this. It printed great, but when it got to the back, it did that same thing. So I don't know why it's doing this massive over extrusion thing on back surfaces. It's really weird. But overall, I gotta say, besides the back part, it did pretty well compared to what I've been seeing with the printer originally. So they're getting somewhere. 3D Printing Nerd, I was going to stream, then I saw you were streaming, so I held off and I'm installing xSplit. Oh, don't hold off for me, dude. Do what you need. I'm just doing the stream because people requested it at the end of my last stream. Did the oddest thing, Tico question. Oh, I finished. Just showed you. Skype call with Joel. I don't know if Joel wants to join in. We could do that, but I'm sure he wants to do his own thing. How many printers do you have? I'm currently around 9 or 10, I think. One of them's a loaner, and one of them's dead, unfortunately, that I have to rebuild. Is a new Matter Mod T an okay printer? Check Chuck Hullebuck on YouTube. He's done a review on the machine. I personally have never used one. Just go to student select the program you want and you'll be able to download it for free. What? How do you get a print to stick to the bed if it keeps coming off? Well, what's your bed type? Do you have a heated bed and what filament are you printing with? And if you're running a heated bed, what temperature? Are those layer start points? I think they're actually layer end points, because the slicing on the Tico always sets the start point in the front of the model. So you'll notice it's kind of hard to see, but there's a zipper line that goes up the front right here, all the way up the front of the model. That's the start point, start and end point. So it's kind of weird how it does that on the back, because it's not even really an end point, I don't think. And it doesn't follow the correct path, because it's overstruding coming this direction, and when it's printing, it's usually printing the opposite direction. So the spiral mode that it prints the outline is wrong for how it's over extruding. So it's just really weird. No airflow from fan, maybe. There's no fan. I just tweeted you. Okay, I'll check it out after the stream and I'll tweet you back. Or tomorrow, depending on how late this is. Who has more printers, Joel or JATMN? Joel by far. I do not come close. I don't like stringing between the peaks on the Tico. Yeah, but it's actually not bad, honestly, compared to where the Tico started. Brothers, dang, only 19 for Patreon. That should be higher. Just added 10 at least for this. Oh, thanks, dude. I just launched it actually like last week, and as you see, I haven't even completed the page, and I don't promote it at all, so. Have you any experience with the Form 2 as one with experience with pro machines such as Object, Stratus, and 3D Systems powdered printers? They are amazing given the price. No, they look like awesome machines. Joel, 3D printing nerd. Wrong finger. There we go. I'm gonna have to get used to this. This is weird. 3D printing nerd right here. He's got a Form 2. He's doing a review on that. He's been enjoying it and teasing me with all his cool prints. How many printers do you have? Just said that, I think. I have about 10. One of them's a loaner and one is broken. Do you have Instagram? I imagine, do you have Instagram? Yeah, I do. The heck is my Instagram? I don't even remember what it is. Instagram. What is my Instagram? Tell me what it is. Yeah, I have Instagram. So there. There you go. Instagram is JAT.MN. Really sucks because my name I thought was going to be unique, and it's like used in all kinds of different variations on all the different social media. So I don't get to use a nice uniform name like everybody else does. 3D printing nerd. I do have a Form 2, just printed and put together a lightsaber hilt with print. You printed the lightsaber hilt in the Form 2? Holy crap, dude. I gotta see that. Best place or brand of PLA? What's your price? PLA non-heated glass plate works great with hairspray for me, but leveling is really important. Yeah. Best place to buy? Price is important. And what's your intended use for the filament? I buy my filaments based on my intended uses. I've bought cheap filaments and I've bought expensive filaments. Fritz and Alex Fritz. I like these channels like you, JATMN, Maker's Muse, Make Anything, 3D Printer, etc. that focus on 3D printers. Yeah, I try to focus. I'm going to try focus more on other things as well in 2017. But my roots are pretty much going to be in 3D printing. Because that's kind of my passion right now. Very curious to see if this print works. You can't see anything right now because it's literally just printing a flat disc. But it is attempting to print one of Maker's Muse's lattice cubes. The original one, so the single cube. I've seen somebody do, I think it was the twisted cube on the Tico, and it came out pretty well. I was going to try that, but right now I'm going to try the single cube first, just to see what happens. It's a little bit smaller, so I'm curious to see if it fails or not. Average price, best bang for your buck. Doesn't help, dude. If you're trying filaments, check out Matter Hackers Pro Series is on the expensive side. Try out Matter Hackers Standard Series, a little bit cheaper. Matter Hackers Thrifty Make is even cheaper, around $21 US, I think, per kilogram. But they only have about 4 colors in that. Otherwise, try out eSun or Hatchbox. Those are kind of my go-to ones for the lower end. If you're looking for more high-end stuff, look at the Matter Hackers Pro Series or ColorFab probably. But you're getting up there in price if you're using those. Taylor, you have a great channel going with your truthful reviews. Hey, I have to be truthful. Nobody's gonna be able to buy me off. I'm sorry. I have printers coming in. I have a printer coming in that's like a $4,000 printer. If it's not that great, it's not that great. I know it's got a place in the market, and it's geared for a place in the market that I'm not in. So, is it worth it for my place in the market? Then we'll see. But otherwise, if it's not, it's not. If filaments are bad, then they're bad. If they're good, they're good. If printers are good, they're good. If they're not good, they're not good. Everybody's seen what I've been doing with the Tico. It's been a rough ride. Everybody's seen what I've been doing with the Block Zero. It's been a pretty smooth ride. Everybody's seen what I did with the Dynamo 3D. It's been a relatively smooth ride. Everybody knows my opinion of the Ultimaker. If I've had my hands on it, I have some sort of opinion on it. Let's just put it that way. And if I'm not truthful, then who's going to be truthful? I know that Angus Maker's Muse is truthful in his reviews. I know Joel Telling 3D Printing Nerd is truthful. I know Resets Preston is truthful. And a number of others are pretty truthful in their reviews. It's just how you perceive it. And if you're curious about something and there's been more than one review, watch them all. Find out what everybody's different opinions are on it and draw your own conclusion. Because maybe one thing doesn't work perfect like for someone else. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, my Ultimaker 2 was my worst experience out of the box for several months. But it's one of my best printers, if not the best printer I have right now. So it's a mixed experience in how much effort you want to put into it. Ah, that was ranty. Why are you so bent on slamming the Tico at $200 device and you keep comparing it to devices with more than 10 times the price? Hello? That's not 10 times the price. It's about the same price. I'm not comparing the Tico to anything else. I'm comparing the Tico to the Tico. That's why I haven't said anything flat out about the Tico. I've been saying, let's see how it goes. Greetings from Seattle. Greetings from Southern California. Jeremiah, you're about to get banned for that. Fritzy. Sorry, I'm never gonna get your name right. I'm horrible at names. Sorry. What brand of printer? The one I'm pointing at? That's the that one. That's the Monoprice Select Mini. What's your opinion on the Mini Select? That one? Check my channel. There's a review on it. It's a pretty decent printer. Mine has honestly over 1,000 hours on it. I know you haven't gotten to try out the Ultimaker 3, but what are your thoughts on the new swappable nozzle system? I think I want to see more going on with the multicolor. It seems to be doing well for support material, but I want to see how it goes going forward with more multicolor and less controlled models. I want to see models that are in the wild that people are randomly printing and not stuff that Ultimaker has showcased. That's what I want to see. I know Joel's got one that he's playing with right now, and I believe Tom Sandler has one that he's playing with, and a couple other people. So I'm curious to see what kind of results they come up with. The raising nozzle system is nice. I like that. The cartridge system, I don't know. I'm still beside myself on that. I have seen the Ultimaker 3 in person. I went to the release event at Matter Hackers when it was released, but I don't know. That's a machine hard to draw a conclusion on without using. What is your take on E3D's new nickel-plated copper alloy heated block? Got 2 on the way. I think that's a mouthful. Holy crap. Actually, I'm not familiar with that. I didn't know they released that already. No opinion. If it's copper alloy, it's going to be one heck of a heat sponge. On the other hand, it's also going to release heat really rapidly as well. So you definitely are going to need to use a sock. Why they're nickel plating it? That honestly doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe as a corrosion inhibitor. What program do you recommend to split up bigger prints? Sorry, I can't help with that. I generally don't do that. I usually ask somebody to. You can try it with Tinkercad on some models. You just take a big chunk square hole out of the side of one to make it half the size, and then go back and move it over to the exact opposite position and take out the other side. You can do it that way. No, the 4001 that you ordered. The 4001 isn't an order, it's a review unit. And it's a make it. I did an unboxing for it, but I had to send it back because there was some issues because the machine that I got was off the floor, the production floor, and hadn't made it through the QA. When I was there, the company was mostly closed, and I was just there with one of the management people that was giving me an overview of it. And they have a inspection section during the assembly process, and one side is the incoming machines and one side is the outgoing machines. And he grabbed my machine from the wrong side of the inspection table, and I got one that was incoming, not outgoing, so my machine hadn't even made it through QC. And I had some issues with it, so they took it back, and I'm getting a new one. I'm supposed to actually get it tomorrow morning, so we'll see. We'll keep you posted on that one. I plan to do some content with it. I wouldn't pay $100 for the Tico with the prints it's producing. Unfortunately, I paid $250. Almost $300 actually. Was my backer $200 or $250? I can't remember. I'm a backer of it originally, and I've already paid my shipping for it. But I'm not until like wave 12 or something for the shipments. So we'll see if my unit is any different than the one that they sent me. That'll be kind of interesting. And for those that keep saying it over and over, this unit is not a beta unit. This is from the second production batch. The batch that just hit Canada, this is from that batch. This is not a beta model. Looks like you're pointing to the block 0 block. Oh. Did you eventually upgrade the bed or anything in the Select Mini? I had to rewire it because it broke the wiring, and then I put a piece of build tack on the surface. That's all I've really done to it, though. Naked Down Under. Hey, Dustin. Hey. Hey. So would you count the Tico as a good printer? I count the Tico as a good potential starter printer, but we'll see. They're literally changing the personality of the printer almost every week. Every time they do a new slicer update, it changes the personality of the printer radically. Usually anyways. We went from prints that looked like this, awesome benchy, to prints that look like this within a matter of like 2 weeks. So they're still putting a lot of effort and manpower into the slicer and firmware of the printer. So it remains to be seen on what kind of printer it actually is. I just think that they're a little bit delayed on this development, that they should have been at this point several months ago. Do you think the Diamond 3-in-1 hot end would be able to extrude PLA with dissolvable support material? No, because the support material prints at a different temperature usually than the PLA. So you're going to have a lot of problems with that. If you're using a diamond, you want to use all dissolvable support material or all different PLAs that all have about the same print temperature. Which printer is more expensive? Than what? Sorry, I didn't catch what part you're referring to. When I'm done using one full of filament and switch it to keep... Do I have to keep the old one in a sealed container? What happens if I don't? Depends on how much humidity is in your environment. All my spools are left open over there. All my spools are left open for the most part. Those are all bags, but they're all open on the back side. It's just the bag that they came with, and I cut the end off, and now I just put the spool back in, so it's still open on one side. But I don't have a high humidity in my area, so this room peaks at like 52% humidity, and I've never had an issue with PLAs. But some people, that may differ. Pro M or Pro L? I'm getting the Pro L, that's why it's 4,000. It's only a loaner. I'm not keeping that as far as I know. It's a pretty expensive printer for them to just give away. But the Pro L is the one that I'm reviewing. Can you send me a 3D file of something to print to see if your slicer works better on my printer? Slicer settings are based on the filament that you're using in your printer tuning. So if I send you G-code, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. James, hey from the UK, and all the 3D printers are costly. I've been looking around for one some time. What do you recommend, as there isn't much of variety over here compared to the US? Gotta let me know what you want to print, dude. What do you want to print? How big do you want to print? What kind of filaments do you want to print? A cloud. Why would a Prusa be $4,000? That's what I said. It's supposed to be the build quality. It's supposed to be more commercial grade, and it's supposed to be pretty good for dual extrusion. The main thing that they boast with it is mass quantity of ditto printing. So printing with both print heads at the same time to do the same object if it's small, and increase production and decrease production time. Overall, it's supposed to be just like a set it, forget it type machine. Well, like I said, we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to knock it for its price because it's honestly not marketed to home users. It's marketed to schools and prototyping companies and engineering type companies and stuff, which they usually have the budget for those types of printers, hence the price of the Ultimaker 3. So I have to approach it as such. I mean, would I spend $4,000 on any one printer? Probably not. I had a hard time justifying $2,500 on the Ultimaker 2. So anyways, I caught up with chat finally. Holy cow, there's a bunch of you people in here. There's over 30 people in here. I'm surprised. There are 2 nozzles and the entire machine looks really solid. Yeah, it's full metal. There's 3D printed parts on it actually, which is pretty interesting, but they're printed pretty well. And the machine is really rugged. The crossbeam that you see going across the top of the Z-axis, you can actually pick up the machine from that thing and like shake it around. Those Z-rods are mounted on aluminum, machined, I think it's aluminum or steel, I can't remember, but they're machined brackets that are anchored to the bottom of the machine. And the machine itself is all steel. So it's pretty solid machine. And it's actually quite heavy. What's your favorite build surface? I got PEI on my 3X printer. 3i? I prefer glass, honestly. But I'm testing out PrintBite on one printer. It was sent to me to check out and review. I use a lot of the Airwolf adhesion products when I'm printing on glass. And I have a sheet of PEI, like a true sheet of PEI. And it works pretty well. And I have build tag on the Monoprice Select Mini. It just depends on what material I'm printing with. I honestly haven't chosen a perfect one yet. They're all pretty good for different thoughts. What is your longest print? Mine was 30 hours. I was printing in the Devil, hand cannon from Destiny by Kirby. Sweet. I'm tempted to print that as well. My longest single print was about 40 hours. And my longest assembly combined was just over 400 hours. Manzinger, I can never pronounce his name. Manzinger Z, on my channel, you'll find a video that I did, and I printed it on the Dynamo 3D 1 Pro, and it stands like just under 1,000 millimeter tall. So what is that, a meter? I don't do metric. Imperial over here. But yeah, it's pretty tall, and I overprinted it. I printed it with way too much infill, and I printed it with way too many shells. So the thing is like bulletproof. But it took about 400 hours to print. What are your thoughts on Lulzbot working on a 1.2 millimeter nozzle printer? It can work. I've seen the Z Unlimited on the Ultimaker 2, and they were printing with a 1 millimeter nozzle. And it works pretty well. When you say you wouldn't spend $4,000 on a printer, is that because you can't personally justify the expense, or because you don't think the performance difference from those machines is worth the expense? That's a loaded question. For starters, personally, because I couldn't justify the expense because I couldn't afford it. If I was running a company or something, would I justify a $4,000 printer over a $1,000 printer or whatever? I'd have to weigh the pros and cons. One of the reasons why they make it is expensive is because they do offer full support on the machine. And for me, at least, they're actually local. They're here in Southern California. And so it's also a machine that's made in the USA. And pretty much all the components are made in the USA as far as I understand as well. I think it even has a custom controller board. I'm not 100% certain on that. I know it's got a daughter board inside that is custom. I know it has a 100% custom heated bed, but aside from that, I'm not too sure what else. I haven't gotten a chance to look into it more. So is it worth the expense? From a business aspect, possibly. For a personal aspect, that's a pretty good down payment on a new car. I don't know. Unlikely creators. Again, it's 135 here. Dude, go to bed. Can't beat 3M blue tape with a wipe of rubbing alcohol. Sure, I don't like it. I've used it several times. Different brand, off-brand, main brand, cheap 3M, expensive 3M. Rubbing it with alcohol, rubbing it with acetone. I don't know. I've just never enjoyed my experience with painter's tape. How many printers do you have in total? About 10 of them. One's a loaner and one's broken. Okay, I've got my heated bed heating now, and it has reached 98 degrees Celsius, so let me fire up a print on Ultimaker 2 real quick. That thing's waiting to print some PC. Try this again. I'm supposed to be printing with you guys, and I'm talking. Let's see here. Add-ons this time, because it didn't work so well. Sure, let's do that. And do that. How'd that work? That's 10? Seriously? Wow, even more than that. Let's see how that works. Whoops, I did not ready for that. Check your Twitter. I'm in the middle of doing something on Simplify 3D. I'll check it in a second. That's where I want my heated bed. Let's bump that to that. Let's change the speed even slower. I don't want that. Wow. That better work, because that's a long friggin' print for that little thing. Okay, good night, Unlikely. Do you recommend the Ninja Flex mod on the Mono Price Select Mini? They have a Ninja Flex mod for it? Are you talking about the Flexion? I don't know that the Flexion works properly for Bowden. The Mini is a Bowden printer. Bowden's not actually recommended when using flexibles at all, especially something like Ninja Flex. You want something a little bit stiffer. $11:32 here in Seattle. It's break right now, so I would be okay-ish. Not really. No. What? Voodoo painter's tape works for me, but I have to turn off the heated bed or my prints get stuck. Yeah, I usually get my prints too stuck to the painter's tape, personally. Would you recommend the Monoprice Mini to somebody who just wants to get into 3D printing, or is there a different printer in that price range that would recommend? Wouldn't recommend anything else in that price range, honestly. I would increase my budget after that point. $300 is really $300 and under budget is really hard to get into for 3D printing because it's a real hit and miss of what you're going to get quality wise, and there's a lot of inconsistency in quality at that price range. And there's a lot of chances that you're taking of whether or not you're going to get a machine that you have to tinker more with than you might have to with a slightly more expensive machine. What are your views on the XYZ DaVinci 1.0 Pro? I have a 3D Hubs account. Some of my best customers are DaVinci owners. That's all I have to say. New Wanhao D7. Oh boy. DLP resin printer is scheduled to release early February, rumored to be sub $1,000. Do you think it will give resin printing a try at that price? I don't plan on giving resin printing a try at all unless someone sends me one. I don't do enough printing that would require resin to be able to justify having the resin around, because the main problem with resin printers is once you start printing with it, you can't stop until you use it up, more or less. You don't want to let it sitting for too long because it will go bad. Essentially, it expires, and the resin itself has a shelf life. So if you buy a whole bunch of resin because you get it on discount or something, it's got an expiration on it. So if you don't use it up right away or within its expiration range, you've wasted all your money on all this resin because it'll go bad. And then resin printing has a lot of cleanup and additional processing to go into it also. That's why I don't have one. What's the difference between Bowden and direct? Bowden, the filament is pushed from one side of a tube through the tube down to the hot end. Direct, the extruder sits directly on top of the hot end and pushes the filament straight into it. Goodbye. Have you ever tried vapor smoothing PLA with chloroform? I'm not going to ever attempt to vapor smooth PLA at all. How's your Tico going? Whoa, it's actually doing okay. Not excellent, but it's doing okay. Huh, that's actually kind of surprising. I want a resin printer, but it's way too expensive. Yes, and the resin is expensive. You know, I think Cubify 3D makes the best, highest quality machines. Except, didn't they, like, discontinue all their consumer machines? Okay, I need to get this print started because that machine's not going to be good to be left on high. That'll get going. That's almost done. Cool. And that's doing alright. Awesome. No, the Cubify printers were actually pretty decent. They were just a closed ecosystem. A lot of people are doing some awesome things with some of the Cubify printers now that they're super cheap and they hack them up and change the controller boards and stuff in them. See, there you go. Super Cat has a bunch of them. Okay, I'll check the Twitters. Let's see what's going on in the Twitters. Okay. Well, tech stuff. Whoever tech stuff is, they tweeted me a benchy that's insanely under extruded and printed with support material for some reason. First, turn off support material when printing the benchy. Don't print support material at all. And your extrusion, if you're using Cura, check and make sure that your filament setting is not set to 2.85 or 3mm filament. Make sure you set it to 1.75 and try again, because you're massively under extruding. It looks really cool though. But you should never print benchy with support. It's designed to be printed without support. Boom. Okay. Da, 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 da. See ya, Chris. I see a lot of angled pillars on that print. Is that one of Angus's torture cubes? Yes, it is. That is his original one. The one that's not really 45 degrees. It's the single cube. It actually looks like it's doing okay. Like, it's not amazing, but if it completes it, that alone will be impressive. We'll see what happens when it starts getting to the ends and starts coming back up. Is that one of those Ultimaker Go printers on the top right corner? Can't see the logo because of the chat. Oh, yeah, that one. Something like that, right? Yeah, that one right there. No, that's the Blocks Zero. It is on Indiegogo right now. It's doing all right. Actually, I take that back. It's doing pretty well. I don't care for the print bed on it, but it printed this earlier in my last stream, and it did pretty well. The stringing is my own fault. I'm using a really low temperature PLA right now, and so I didn't tune it quite right for it just yet. But otherwise, here we go. This printed out really great. I'm impressed. Did pretty good with the peaks and stuff too. Nice printer. Be a review on that in the not so distant future, hopefully. But no, that's not an Ultimaker Go. I saw a Cubified Duo for 65 bucks on eBay. Where's the link? I'll buy it right now. Greetings from Germany. Hey, Germany. Greetings from Southern California. Morning from Ohio. Good morning, Ohio. Boom, boom, boom. I have me Creator 2 from G-Tech. Printer is cheap, but oh, for the price. Okay. I've never used a G-Tech anything. Robo 3D thoughts. I don't have Robo 3D, but I have some friends that have Robo 3Ds. They have the R1 Plus, I believe it is. Pretty good printer. Sometimes needs a little bit tuning, but otherwise, pretty good printer. Cincinnati. Hey, cool. Tried the M3D, and it was quite possibly the worst experience of my life. That's a common statement from M3D owners. Million likes, 3D Benchy. That's what I would print. Doing alright. Need coffee? I'm drinking tea right now, but it's getting cold. I'm gonna have to heat it back up soon. Cloud, they used to have an M3D in the store at Micro Center. Last time I was there, there was nowhere to be found. Guess nobody bought it. Yeah, probably. I didn't even know that Micro Center carried that one at any point. Michael should have said tea. Nothing wrong. Nice cup of. I drink coffee too, and it's just almost midnight now, and I'm drinking tea. I'll be right back. I need to get more hot water. This is too cold. Fat key. Do you use Raspberry Pi for your printers? No, I don't use Raspberry Pi at all. I use SD cards. The M3D Pro looks almost promising. It looks like I almost don't want to put any money on it. They've already raised $500,000. Yeah, they raised a ton of money on the original one too. Million likes. I got the same problem on the Millennium Falcon. I'm guessing you guys are talking about the Benchy on Twitter? Like I said, check to make sure that you are using the right size filament in the slicer. If you're set for 3mm, or 285mm, which is default for Cura, you're not going to get the right extrusion because you're extruding 1.75mm. So you need to change that setting in the slicer. That'll make a significant difference, just that alone. Almost 3 here in Jersey, so going to bed. Good night. I don't know how I feel about kid-friendly 3D printers. As far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as a kid-friendly 3D printer. I think the closest I would consider a kid-friendly 3D printer would be like the Up Mini or something. Just because it's all enclosed, and with at least the front door, when you open it, it stops the machine. The Tico is kind of kid-friendly, I guess. It's got an accelerometer in it, so if you push the machine over, it cancels the print, and the print head just runs all the way up inside of the machine to keep the hot end away from hands and stuff. And it cools down actually fairly quickly because it's so small. But as far as kid-friendly, I don't know. Maybe the Tico as far as like safety, and maybe the Up Mini, but nothing's ready for kids, I don't think. Not to the point that you can say this is kid-friendly. Since when is 220 degrees Celsius kid-friendly? Exactly. Million likes. We're talking about stopping randomly like it's getting tired. What? That doesn't even make any sense. You guys, you're talking about the block 0 right there? Here, I'll link it in the chat. That's the printer that's running in the back. It's actually kind of noisy, but it works pretty well. Small printer, or sorry, I read that. In San Diego, not Sleepy at all. In Orange County. Getting there. Michael, alright. I know lots of people asking about what printer should I start with and what filament should I use. I'd like to know of any good sites that would provide useful information for us new folks. Unfortunately, no, there isn't. There's a bajillion different sites that claim to have the top 5 or the top 10 or the best printers for starters. Quite frankly, most of them are a load of crap. The best thing and the most honest approach that I can give for trying to get into 3D printing and trying to find the details that you're trying to find out, watch 3D Printing Nerd, watch Maker's Muse, watch Press Reset, watch Thomas Sandler, watch Chuck Hollabuck, and derive your own opinion of what you think is the best. Because there's no such thing as the best printer for everyone. Because everybody has different needs, everybody has different skill levels, and everybody has a different amount of time that they want to allocate to this kind of project. It's a hobby, it's not a tool. It can be used as a tool once refined, but going into it, it is a hobby. And consider it a hobby and nothing more. How many printers are you printing on right now? Well, I would say 3, but I've got to go cancel that print because it's coming off the print bed. I'm printing on 2 printers. That polycarbonate is not sticking to that bed whatsoever. Million likes. Printer stops randomly in the middle of the print. Are you printing over USB by chance? Don't print over USB. Print over the SD card. If it's stopping randomly, it's going to be your computer that's causing it to. 101 Hero looks loose and weak. I don't have one. Boo, I'll stick with the RepRat site and things like that. Yeah, do that. Anyone use Hatchbox brand PLA? If so, how's your experience? Hatchbox works pretty well. My 3D printer paused and told me waiting on user, then it quit after pausing like 5 times. Are you printing over USB? If you're printing over USB, it's your computer inducing the issue. If you're printing over SD card, you did something weird in the slicing and you have a pause in there for some reason. No printer should just pause on its own. Oh, hey, the block's finished. Let's see what that looks like. Dang it, I need to lower the temperature on this. Filament I'm using is too low temperature. Let's see if it breaks through. Good night, Fritz. I print with an SD card and it's still pausing? It shouldn't be pausing at all. Try swapping out your SD card and check your slicer to see if you are inducing a pause for some reason. It's something you can do with some slicers. Where's my pliers? I got my end cutters. Where are my pliers? Use these ones. Cool. So this was not tuned at all for support or anything. This was the built-in support in the model. There's the bottom side where the support was. There's the top. Obviously printing a little hot, but yeah, come on. Give me a good angle. There we go. In place, ball bearing. Printed on a block 0. Did pretty well. I'm impressed. This was printed on the block 0. In Cura, you need to change PLA, and you want to set the size to 175. Let me see here. I have Cura 15.4. I don't know what version. What version of Cura are you using for the Mini? I like never use Cura. Cura is awesome, but I like never use it because I have Simplify. Duplicat, dang, that came out smooth. Yeah, I'm impressed. I've been quite happy with the block 0. Try it on the Tico. That's mean. Let's see here. What can I set for? $15.46. Well, I've got $15.44, so it's going to be relevant to what you're doing. Pro tip, cover up the sound of your printer with a huge blower fan. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to switch the screens here. Boom. And where I is? How come I can't resize it? What? I can resize the screen, but I can't resize... Why can't I resize the video? Strange. I can do it manually. Whoa. Where I go? That works. We're doing it live. Nice fade effect. Thanks. Yeah, that's built into xSplit. It's got a few different effects. Sorry, I'm no other time to set this up, so set it up right now. Cool. We'll just leave it like that for now. And then this one is full screen. There we go. Now we can see me and stuff. So, 1,000,000 likes. This is for you and for anybody trying to use Cura. I don't have this profile set up for the monoprice select mini, but the setting I'm talking about is under basic, and if you come down to diameter, it says 285 by default in most cases. You want to make sure that says 1.75. Flow rate 100%, nozzle size, I believe the select mini is 0.4, so you want to make sure that that's 0.4 and nothing else. After that, print speed on the select mini, 80 would be way too fast. I would set that at about 50, 60 maximum. Print temperature, if you're running PLA, I really wouldn't go over the select mini. Mine likes to print hot, so I run mine at about 200 to 205 Celsius. Bed temperature on the mini, I usually run about 45 to 50 Celsius. Density, 25, whatever. I wouldn't set this any higher than about 25% for most prints. You can start from there. Changing my layer height to 0.2 fixed the problem. Oh, awesome. That must have been the over extruding one. Yeah, so most printers have a 0.4 nozzle. Some of them have 0.5, but most of them have 0.4. If you're printing at a 0.3 layer height, that's only going to work on some models or on very well tuned machines. Suggest to print at 0.25 maximum, preferably around 0.2 for layer height for a 0.4 nozzle for optimal printing. Is it just me, or does MakerBot seem totally overpriced? You're paying for the name. But 1,000,000 likes. I hope this helps you. Try that. Make sure that your extrusion diameter is set right. That's going to play a world of difference. If you slice it at 2.85, it's going to extrude not enough filament. It's going to under extrude like you're seeing. Anyways, let's do fade back again. Whoosh. Can you guys hear this? I'm like playing with the bearing. Printer zone, print zone. Hey Dustin, I'm back. Welcome back, print zone. If you say I have a MakerBot, people bow down. At least amateurs do. How so? I wouldn't. Buy the Tico again, or is the printer too buggy? The printer has a ways to go. It's still in pre-order status, so you can't really buy one right now anyways. Unless you want to buy into the future. On the upside, the Ticos are shipping, so it's got that going for itself, unlike some Kickstarters. This bearing's fun. What should I print on that thing now? I need to print something on block 0. What should I print? On the other hand, it needs more filament. That spool's pretty much gone. Never mind. Bummer. So, my polycarbonate print failed. My block 0 is needing more filament. Tico's doing alright. Let's move the camera so you guys take a look at the Tico. You guys are getting a sneak peek at the Tico because I didn't show it in the last stream. Let's see if I don't screw things up here. That's as far as my zoom's gonna let me go, but sorry. There you go. So it's doing alright. Getting there. Stringing like crazy. I could lower the temperature a lot. I think it's going 200 or 205 degrees Celsius. I lowered the temperature a bit. I have to get this set back right again, sort of. Dustin, will you print my file if I give you a link? It's a fidget cube and it's fully 3D printable, also modular. Tweet it to me, Print Zone. I'll check it out. If it's interesting, or if I have time to print it, I'll print it. I went and looked. I'm on shipment 11 for that printer. I'm on shipment 12. This isn't my backer unit. This is a review unit. What do you think about Core XY style printers? I think they're complicated. I've been building one for about a year now, but that's because I keep putting it on hold for months on end and only working on it for a couple days a month. But it's pretty solid design, just really hard to calibrate. The next indie printer that doesn't use hipster non-copyrighted music in their trailer, I'm buying. Okay. Extreme close-up. Yep. That's the awesomeness of doing a live stream with a real camera as opposed to a webcam. Angus's torture test. Yes, it is. It's his first one. It's the single cube. Hello from Mexico. Hello, Mexico. What was the filament thing that spins? That is just a Lazy Susan that is glass. That's what I had. I have the spool sitting on the Lazy Susan instead of in the machine because it's easier to make changes quickly because of that. And because initially I was printing with another spool that was a little bit too big for the Tico, and that was the only way I was able to print. And putting a spool stand next to the machine doesn't work too well. It puts too much tension on the line. JATMN, have you tried matter control from Matter Hackers at all? Yes, I have actually. It has a different learning curve, so I haven't played with it a whole lot. But I plan to play with it more in the beginning of the year. And I also have the, it's hard to see it, but you might be able to slightly see right there. That's the box to the Matter Control Touch T10. I've had it for a little while now. I'll do a review on it eventually, but I can't really review a touch tablet based on a slicer if I don't give the slicer much of a chance. So I have to spend some more time with the slicer. Currently, I've been still in the process of tuning up my machines to the point where I'm super happy with them, and I feel that trying to judge a slicer on a machine that's not fully tuned is an unfair attempt. So. Had I thought purely theoretical, with that enclosed unit, it would make sense to say that there would be more heat further up, yada yada yada. Okay. Tico update works correctly, question mark. It, it, it's working better. This was the benchy that I got off of it just the other day from the Tico. Not perfect, but sure beats the heck out of the ones that I was getting. And you guys just saw a close-up of the stress cube, the torture cube that I'm printing. It printed this earlier this evening. Not excellent, but it's getting there compared to what it was doing. For some reason, it's doing weird artifacting on the back of my prints. I don't know why, but the slicer's inducing that. It's strange. Dun. Okay. You think that if someone incorporated vent holes to the top of the print chamber that it would make any difference within the Tico? Honestly, not really. Can I post a link? It won't let you. Does the Tico have a part cooling fan? The prints look like they haven't been cooled properly. There is not a fan at all in the Tico. As a way to help control excessive temps within the print chamber, and as a way to help alleviate stringing, even though stringing is still occurring at lower temps. Oh, for the vent holes, I don't see that making much of a difference. It's honestly not that warm inside, or at least to the touch. The outside surface isn't even warm. There's a bit of heat in the inside up here, but like you said, the heat rises, and it actually is vented in the top. It vents, it's kind of dumb, it vents into the spool cavity, but I don't have the lid on it, so it's still venting out. It just doesn't vent super well. And there's really nowhere in the machine to put a fan at all. This thing's fun. I don't have a fidget cube yet, so this is my fidget cube now. I think Tico needs an object cooler for the PLA. Yeah, but there's nowhere to put one. The print head's too small. Thinking of buying a Fisher Technic just for fun. Oh my gosh, did you see Tom's review on that thing? I'd rather waste my money on a China kit. Like a sketchy kit, even. Have you tried filamentive filaments? Filamentive filaments. Filamentive filaments. You mean the filamentive RPET? Or do you mean the filamentive wood? Or do you mean the filamentive RPLA? I just got these last week, and I'm going to be playing with these in the next coming weeks and check them out. I've got the Pet G, or Pet, what is that? RPET, not Pet G, RPET. I printed Benchy with it, but that's all I've done so far. And I don't think I was printing it hot enough yet because still having some layer bonding with it. Yeah, that didn't take too much effort. I would expect stronger bonding than that, but I think I didn't print it hot enough either. So we'll see. I'm playing with that right now. It's loaded on my Ultimaker 2 clone that runs 175mm. And that's going to be my test subject on that machine going forward for now. So, playing with the RPET, and then I'll check out the PLA and check out the wood fill. But yeah, I've got it. Maybe adaptive heat sinks for Tico. What? Fisher Technic is really bad. Yeah, it's really bad. Like, there's not even a lot you can do with that thing as far as making parts from it or anything. Like, you can use the part to make a toy, maybe, but you can't really part out anything on it. None of it's worth it. Voodoo. I bought a sketchy China kit and it works. Could be better. Yeah, I would get that over the Fisher Technic any day. Especially at the cost. Holy cow. You can get a nice China kit for that cost, actually. ABS toothbrush bristles. Pain. What? What did I miss? Filamentive is apparently having a 50% off sale sometime in January. Sweet! Their filament's a little bit expensive for the United States. I have to say that. This was sent to me by Filamentive, otherwise I probably wouldn't have had a chance to try it out. Is there any possibility of putting an impeller assembly in the filament holder on top of the unit and having a tube run down to the Bowden tube, down with the Bowden tube to blow on the parted area? On the Tico, I'm assuming. I wouldn't do it. The stepper motors that are driving the axis rods for the Tico are not very strong. They are not your traditional NEMA stepper motors. They are just the China geared stepper motors. They are very small and they're not very strong. So it's already pushing a Bowden tube around and some wiring for the hot end. And I think it's probably at its limit on what it's going to be able to push around. If you try to push down another tube to blow air, I don't think it's going to be able to move the head around very well. And it's already printing at its top speed. Like, that's how fast it prints on most models. And you can't adjust the speed. Maker Noob, morning, man. Have you been streaming for 5 hours? Went to bed, woke up since then. No, this stream's been going on for just about 2 hours or so, I think. And the stream before was 2.5 hours. Wow, I guess 5 hours. But I took an hour break in between. I was watching press resets and eating dinner. You guys should check out his stream. He's doing some fun stuff finally in his little makerspace. Glad he's finally able to get started. Good luck, a million likes. Good night. For slightly more than the Fisher Technic printer, you can get an original Mark II. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. I got a China kit for $180. Cool. Which one did you get? Try postage to Australia. Need to take out a loan overseas. Yeah. I've heard that about Australia. That's insane. Could you somehow put an external cooling fan, like say a desk fan, to blow onto the part in the Tico? You would have to cut a massive hole into the side of the Tico to put a test fan next to it. Got my China kit for 130. Is that euros? Delta Colossal. Yeah, if you guys check out my Patreon, I've actually got a goal that I honestly don't think I'll ever make it to. But there's a goal on there that if I get to, I think it's $250, I think, I will let my Patreons pick a Delta printer, preferably China kit, that I will build. I will buy and build live, hopefully not burn down my apartment. And then the Patreons will direct on my direction of how I will upgrade it to be an awesome machine and comparable to these higher end machines. And being as I have no experience building deltas, it will be quite an experience. But I don't know. I don't think I'll ever make it to that goal level anyways. But I figured it'd be kind of fun. But that's my goal. That's like a 2017, 2018 goal if I ever get there. I think it would be pretty fun. The Fisher Technic was designed for schools. That is one terrible school. No kidding. I would never send my kids to that school. Good night, Gino. Jeannie. Wow. It's getting late. I really can't say names now. Hi. Hi, Junior. It's actually almost $100 cheaper for the Mark II than for the Fisher Tech. Wow, really? That's pretty pathetic. Printer zone, I got a Hicktop 3D P11. I'm guessing that's an i3 printer. I don't know. I have no idea what that is. JATMN, better than a print that looks like it's been melted with a blowtorch. Did you know California backwards is California? No, it's not. It's getting too late for the rest of you guys. You're getting cookie now, too. Oh, damn. I just remember I need to set an alarm so I wake up in the morning because I have to make sure to get that other printer. I'm off tomorrow, so sleeping in is an easy thing to do. That's if I'm able to sleep anyways. There we go. Yep, the Hicktop 3D P11 is a Prusa, but at this point, what isn't anymore? A Delta isn't a Prusa. An Ultimaker isn't a Prusa. A Replicator clone isn't a Prusa. At least you don't have work. Yes, I'm off until the 3rd, but unfortunately, I worked like every weekend of November and the beginning of December to be able to be off, so kind of sucks. Bought the FL Sun Colossal, 190 bucks. Luckily, I also have a Prusa i3, had to print everything new, switched to a MKS S-base, and had to replace the carbon rods and Traxxas ends. Finally, it works perfectly. Yeah, I kind of expect to do that with my project. And that's why it's going to be like, my Patreons are going to help me choose which one. I already have a couple that I'd prefer to use, and I'll probably just make a list and give them options to choose from, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's why the goal is a little bit high, so that it's able to pay for all the parts that I have to buy to replace, because I'm sure I'll replace like 90% of them anyways. I'm not off, but I don't start until 6 p.m., so I've got that going for me. Whew, that's late. You could use a fan to blow from the top if there are vents. Have no clue if that would work. The vents on the top of the Tico, can't show you because if I tilt it over it's going to cancel the print. The vents on the top of the Tico are, how's the best way to describe that? Let's see here. If this let's say this is solid. If this is the bottom tray of the inside of the Tico, so the spool of filament sits on top inside the chamber, coming around the tray is little air duct vents, but they're they're angled and they have a step into them, so the vents are very much one direction for airflow. So the heat's going to rise out of them, but it's going to be really hard to push air down. And it goes all the way around. There's multiple vents all the way around, but they're very thin, wide and thin. So you're going to be, you would have to have a lot of velocity to be able to push air down into it. So I don't see that working without some modification of it. Not to mention, there's no real way of powering a fan from the Tico. It's very low voltage. It is running on, what was the power supply on that thing? It was really weird. It was, let me see here. It's running a 2.5 amp 12 volt power supply. So you don't have power for pretty much anything else on that machine. Dustin, check out this new style riprap Delta, uses Cartesian planar G code. Watch. Okay, well, let's see what that is. Oh wow, that hurts my head. That's cool, but that hurts my head. Wow. Mathematics on that thing's gotta be crazy. I guess you could get more print volume though, huh? Because you can go almost all the way up on the z-axis. Or pretty close to anyways. Dang, somebody put some time into that. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Dustin, try putting the Tico in the freezer while it prints so that there's cold air. Slotted vents around the edges. Yes, slotted vents. Think of like, I don't know, an air conditioner duct or a heater duct in a house or something. It's got slotted vents. Very much meant for heat to come out, not air to go in. If you wanted a Delta, you'd better buy the parts and use your printers for the printed parts. You'll get a way cheaper printer, the same experience, and it will work. Okay. Duplicat, that printer looks insane. I wish it was actually printing. Yeah, that would have been kind of cool. My god, they made the vents like the chamber within a gas turbine engine. Maybe? Gas turbine? Yeah, sorta. They're just ducts. They're one way. They're meant for air to come out, not air to go in. Build a PC into a fridge. Okay. Deltron. Yeah, DivCat, that's a pretty cool printer. I would like to see more development on that. That would be pretty cool. Well, the Chico has made it past the critical point on this print, so I think it might finish it. I'll have to let it run overnight and see what it does. Oh! It's moving things around. I don't know. That may or may not fail. A couple of the little fingers, it's moving around. Not all of them, but a couple of them do. I don't know. That might be questionable. We'll see what happens. I'll tweet it tomorrow. I'm surprised it made that far. It's very interesting to see what things the Tico does and does not print well. Like, it can't print a benchy, but it can print that thing. What filament am I going to put on the Block Zero next? Got that spool of white. I don't want to use white on review. Probably do the red. Yeah, probably do the red next. Okie dokie. Jet engines. In the combustion chamber of jet engines, they have a small chamber around the combustion chamber where ambient air rapidly flows to keep the air cool. It keeps that area of the engine from melting. Huh, okay. I know very little about combustion engine, turbine engines. Wow, he's got a hot end on that thing. His printed parts look really good. I love when people print high quality for their mechanical parts on printers. That is pretty slick. Oh, he's got it set up differently. He doesn't have a... He only has one arm on vertical and the rest of them are laying flat. That's kind of interesting. Very curious to see what kind of speed he actually gets out of that thing. But the movements and such is really cool. Thoughts on the Ultimaker 3? I think it's expensive. It looks like an awesome machine, but it's expensive. How is the print time on the Tico? Incredibly slow. Tico tops out at 30 millimeters a second. You can usually print significantly slower. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. It's after midnight now. It's 12:39 or so. This has been fun. If you guys want me to do another live stream this week, let me know. Like I said, I'm off this week, so I've got time to do more. Trying to work on some content for the channel. Hopefully have some reviews coming up for you guys. I'm overdue for some actual reviews, and I know it, but everything is in the testing stage right now. Block Zero is testing. Hopefully, I'll probably do a review on it soon, actually. I have a review I'm trying to wrap up for the Bondtech QR. I've been trying to dry out my TPU filament so I can get some good prints going on the TPU. And then I'll be able to wrap up my review of that. I have a review coming up for the printed solid enclosure for the Ultimaker 2, which is an acrylic enclosure for the Ultimaker 2. A review for that should be coming right after the Bondtech QR review. I have at least one printer coming back to me tomorrow, but I have a possibility of 2 or 3 printers, including possibly kits for the beginning of 2017, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've got a lot of content coming up. I just have to get to it. The streams are awesome, but it ties into a lot of the testing and stuff that I got to do as well. But with how crazy my schedule has been recently, the streaming's actually been the better alternative, unfortunately. But anyways, if you guys want to see more streams, I don't know, hit 1 in the chat and I'll do more streams. So. Let me see here. Kinda random, but just performed a PID auto tune on my 3D printer. Extruding temperature was failing to keep up, causing cold extrusion. So much better now. Yeah, it's pretty good to do an auto tune every now and then, especially if it's a newer printer. Spun's great. Thanks for the stream and the info. Think I'll set up a printer now with matter control. Cheers. Yeah, I need to check out matter control. I think I'll start doing some testing on the Block Zero with matter control here soon. I think that's what I'll do next. Good night, Dustin. Almost 2 a.m. here in Colorado. Wow, that's late, man. Good night and good day from Estonia. Oh, cool. Only 2 people want to see a stream. Okie dokie. 3 people. Which slicer do you use for the Tico printer? I use the Tico slicer. It's got a built-in slicer engine. The WIT, W-I-T, I think they're calling it. It's a web-based slicer. Alright, well, check you guys later. Thanks for joining, and print all the things. Later, guys.